Hello everyone and welcome to Skein Spider. Today's pattern is another from the Popcorn Stitch mini series, and this one is a little kiwi bird. So if you would like to make your own, grab your hooks and let's get started. To make a mini popcorn stitch kiwi, you're going to need a 3.5mm hook, scissors, stitch markers, a needle, pins, some stuffing, a pair of 9mm safety eyes, as well as 8-ply yarn in 2 colours of your choice. The head and body of our little kiwi is worked as one piece, and we're going to start off round 1 by putting 6 single crochet in a magic circle. Round 2 is 6 increases, and an increase is just putting 2 single crochet in each stitch. So I'm going into stitch 1 from round 1, putting 1 single crochet, going back into that same stitch and putting a second, and that's 1 increase. I'm going to repeat this 5 more times for 6 increases in total. Round 3 is 1 single crochet and then an increase in the next stitch, and we're going to repeat this 6 times. 1 single crochet, 1 increase, and keep doing that all the way around. At the end of round 3, there should be 18 stitches total in your round, and then round 4 is 18 single crochet. Round 5 is 5 single crochet and an increase repeated 3 times. Round 6 is just 21 single crochet. For round 7, we're going to be working in the front loops only, and the front loop is a part of the stitch that's closest to you here. So each of our individual stitches look like a little V. The part of the V that's on the outside closest to you is the one we're going to work into. So for round 7, we're going to do 6 single crochet followed by an increase repeated 3 times, and for the entire round we're going to be working in the front loops. Round 8 is 3 single crochet and an increase repeated 6 times, and this time we're back working in both loops. After round 8, we're going to insert the safety eyes, so I'm just securing my end before I do that. And before you even grab your safety eyes, we want to make sure that the body is positioned correctly. You want the start/end of your round here to be centered at the back of the head. So we've got the head here. You need to keep this positioned right in the center, because we're going to put the eyes on the front here. And if we don't line the eyes up properly, then they're going to be misaligned with the feet that we're going to crochet later on. So make sure that your start end of the round is centered at the back of the head. With that in the correct position, we're going to grab our safety eyes and we're going to insert them between rounds 4 and 5, 5 stitches apart. So I'm counting out from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, the center of those 5 stitches that separate our 2 eyes should be aligned with the start/end of our round. Now I've lost my place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's going to be roughly the center there. I'm going to count out 2 stitches from this third one, which I'm using as my center point. 1, 2, first eye goes there. And now that I have the first eye in place, I'm going to count back 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in the 6th, I'm going to place that second eye. And then I'm just going to double check that the start end of my round is in the center between the eyes. That looks pretty good. And once they're aligned, you can pop the backs on. If I can get them on. Alright, so I'm bumping my eye size up to a 12mm, which is the next size that I have. And the reason I'm doing that is this 8-ply yarn that I'm using is actually a brand I'm not familiar with. It's just some scrap I got from the op shop. And it's actually a little bit thicker than my usual 8-ply yarn. So with this little guy over here, I used 9mm eyes and they worked out alright, but this yarn's a little bit thicker, so I'm just going to bump the eye size up, if I can get that in there. And hopefully I can get the backs on a little bit easier, because I could not get those the backs of the 9mm eyes on. There we go, much better. Okay, now that that's done, finally, we're going to go on to round 9. And round 9 is just 30 single crochet, but so are rounds 10, 11 and 12. So for rounds 9 through to 12, just do 30 single crochet each. For round 13, we're going to start off with 3 single crochet, 2 and 3, and then we're going to follow this up with an invisible decrease. To make an invisible decrease, you're going to go under the front loops of the next 2 stitches, and again the front loop is the part of the stitch that's closest to you. Go under the first front loop, go under the second front loop, you're going to yarn over and pull through both of those front loops, and at this point you should have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through both of those. Now that our invisible decrease is done, we're going to keep repeating 3 single crochet, 1 decrease, all the way around, or 6 times in total. In round 14, we're going to be crocheting our popcorn stitch legs, so you'll want to have your second colour handy. However, if you would prefer to do them in the same colour as the body, you can do that. You'll need to follow the instructions as they are, except obviously you won't be changing colour. What we're going to do is start off round 14 by doing 9 single crochet. And 8. When I get to stitch number 9, I'm not going to finish my stitch. And what I mean by that is I'm going to go into the stitch, I'm going to yarn over and pull through, but instead of finishing the stitch, I'm going to leave these 2 loops on my hook. I'm going to pick up my second colour, so I'm using this brown, and I'm going to bring that yarn in and line it up behind the head of my hook. I'm going to yarn over in the new colour and finish my 9th single crochet in that. In the next stitch, we're going to do our first popcorn stitch. We're going to begin the popcorn stitch by doing 5 double crochet all in the same stitch. To do a double crochet, yarn over, then go into the stitch, yarn over and pull back through. At this point you should have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over again, pull through just the first 2 loops, 1 and 2, and now you should have 2 loops remaining on your hook. Yarn over for a final time and pull through both of those loops. That's 1 double crochet done. We need to do 4 more, and we're going to do them all in that same stitch. So I'm going to yarn over again, go into the same stitch, yarn over and pull through, have 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through just the first 2, 1, 2. At this point I should have 2 loops on my hook, yarn over for a final time and pull through both of those loops. That's my second double crochet. I'm going to do number 3, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through. I have 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, have 2 loops left, yarn over, pull through those. And I'm going to do number 4. And then I'm going to do double crochet number 5. Double crochet number 5 is slightly different because we're going to need to change back to our body color yarn. So I'm going to do the first few steps. I'm going to yarn over first. I'm going to go into my stitch. I'm going to yarn over and pull through. I'm going to yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. So I have 2 remaining. But at this point, I'm not going to finish the stitch in my brown yarn. Instead, what I'm going to do is drop my brown yarn. I'm going to pick up my original body color yarn, which for me is the grey, and I'm going to yarn over in that, pull through the 2 loops on my hook and finish the double crochet in the grey. From here, we're going to continue crocheting our popcorn stitch in our body color yarn. The next step is just to pull up with your hook so you leave a nice large loop. Be careful not to tug on your working yarn, that is the yarn still attached to your skein, because we don't want this loop to pull out. If it does, that's okay. You'll just have to repeat the last double crochet that you did. Once you've created that large loop, you're going to take your crochet hook and insert it into the first double crochet that we did. If you've changed color as I have, it's fairly easy to see which is your first one, but if you didn't change color, what you can do is just count backwards from the last double crochet that you did to find double crochet number 1. That would be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to insert our hook under the front and back loop, and we're going to push the hook away from us. So we're starting from the outside of our piece and working our hook towards the inside of the piece. Once you've done that, grab the large loop that we've left, and you're going to place that on the head of your hook. Now, because it's so large, it might just come off. Just take your finger and hold it in place. Once you've done that, grab your working yarn. Again, that is the yarn attached to your skein, and we're just going to tug on that now and tighten up the loop. So we're going to tighten that up right against the head of the hook. Once that's done, we're going to pull that loop we've just tightened through the first double crochet where we inserted our hook, as if we were doing a slip stitch. So I'm just going to take that loop and pull it through. The final step of our popcorn stitch is to chain 1. And it's really important that we remember to chain 1 at the end there, because we're going to need that stitch to work into in the next round. Now that our first popcorn stitch is complete, we're going to do 5 more single crochet, and on the 5th one we're going to be changing color back to our feet color. It can be a little bit difficult to see the next stitch you need to work into because popcorn stitches are fairly bulky. So what you can do is just nudge that aside with your thumb, find the next free stitch, and you're going to bring your hook down to that and begin crocheting. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and for number 5 I'm going to change color. I'm going into my stitch, yarning over and pulling through. I'm going to drop my body color yarn. I'm going to pick up my feet color yarn, and I'm going to finish the stitch in that. In the next stitch, we're going to crochet a second popcorn stitch, which will create our second foot. We're going to begin again by doing the 5 double crochet in the same stitch. Start by yarning over, going into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, then yarn over for a final time, pull through the remaining 2. Do that 4 more times in the same stitch. 4, so I've just done 4 double crochet. On the 5th we're going to need to change color again. Yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through. You should have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, but we're not going to finish in the brown. So while you've got 2 loops on your hook, drop your feet color yarn, pick up your body color yarn, yarn over and finish your final double crochet in that. Pull up with your hook to leave a large loop, then insert your hook into double crochet number 1 from front to back. Take that large loop, place it on the head of your hook, and then if you can get it to stay, then tighten it up. We're going to pull that loop through the first double crochet as if we were doing a slip stitch, and then we're going to chain 1. We no longer need our feet color at this point, so I'm just going to cut that, and then I'll be working over this tail end to secure it. And we're going to finish round 14 by doing 8 single crochet in the body color. For round 15, we're going to do 2 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeated 6 times. But in this round, we're going to need to work into the chains that we did at the end of our popcorn stitches. So I'm going to begin by doing the first 2 lots of 2 single crochet, 1 decrease, decrease. So I've done those first two lots of 2 single crochet, 1 decrease, and I'm going to come up against my first popcorn stitch. Because in round 14 we started off with 9 single crochet before we did that first popcorn stitch, we've got 1 single crochet that we can work into, so I'm going to put my first single crochet there. Then the second crochet I need to do is going to go into the chain from my popcorn stitch. So this is my popcorn stitch here, and this is where we chained 1. That's where I need to work into for my second single crochet. After that, I'm going to decrease across the next 2 stitches. I'm going to do 2 more single crochet, 2. And this time I have a single crochet, and then the next stitch I need to work into that is the chain. I need to do a decrease across those 2. So I'm going to go under the front loop of the next single crochet, but then after that I need to go under the front loop of the chain from my popcorn stitch. And I'm going to do my decrease across those 2. And for the rest of the round, I'm just going to continue doing 2 single crochet, 1 decrease. After round 15 is done, we're going to stop and add the stuffing. And when that's finished, we're going to continue on with round 16, which is going to be 1 single crochet followed by 1 decrease. And it's going to be a little bit easier this time because we don't have to worry about working over any popcorn stitches. Round 17 is our final round, and we're going to do 6 decreases. To finish off, just cut a short tail and then grab your needle so we can weave in this end and close up this little hole. Just going to thread the tail end through my needle there. You're going to insert your needle under the front loops of the last 6 stitches, and you want to start from behind the front loop and push your needle forward towards you. And 6. Once you've gone through all 6 stitches, you're going to pull on the yarn so the hole closes up. Insert your needle back directly into the center of the last round, and then just weave your needle in through the body to secure your end. And now that the body is done, all we need to do now is crochet the little beak. Stay. I'm going to be crocheting the beak in the same color that I did the feet. So this brown here, we're going to start off with 4 single crochet in a magic circle. Round 2 is 1 increase followed by 3 single crochet. And then rounds 3, 4 and 5 are going to be 5 single crochet each, but if you find it easier, you can just do 15 single crochet consecutively. When you're done, just leave a tail of yarn so you can sew the beak onto the head. And then we can go on to assembly, which in this pattern is really easy because all we need to do is sew this beak that we've just made to the head and we're done. So why did I put that back? I need that. Okay, once you're done, you're going to thread the tail end of your beak through your needle. And then you can use a pin if you want to. It's not strictly necessary because the beak is fairly small, but if you want to make sure it stays in the right position, then you can use one. We're just going to center the beak between the eyes, and I like to put my beak towards the bottom of the eyes, but you can place it where you think it looks best. And then we're just going to sew that on. And when your beak's on, we're just going to weave the tail end in. Snip off the excess yarn when you're done. And that is our mini kiwi finished. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed making a mini popcorn stitch kiwi today. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all next week with a new video.